We have Denys today. Denys from Readdle. I remember Denys. I was at TechCrunch Berlin, and you were there as a speaker, and they called your name like Denys Zhadanov. That's what people usually call you when you are a speaker at some world events. Is that right?
Well, they sometimes they pronounce Zhadanov, so they don't
Oh,
say zh
okay.
because there is
Okay.
no such pronunciation of as zh in English. But I've done
Yeah.
some work with the TechCrunch person, and I'm like, listen, my last name is Zhadanov. So
Wow. Wow. So you were teaching them how to
oh, I
speak
mean,
proper.
she is I think from our part of the world,
Yeah.
so she knows.
Okay, awesome. So Denys is an entrepreneur, and Denys is the board member now of Readdle. We actually work with Readdle. We have a lot of your guys learning English and practicing soft skill with us. So I'm very proud of that. I'm very proud to be featuring the Readdle logo on the website among our clients. So that's great. So today I have invited Denys to share with us and to talk about soft skills, and of course share his productivity tips, motivational tips, and because technically Denys is one of the key people, I would say that, right, in the tech arena, not only in Ukraine but famous all over the world. And technically, I'm pretty sure, Denys, you know a lot of secrets how to become a top professional in tech, because a lot of people who are watching this interview right now, they are struggling to get a job and to build a successful career in tech. So let's help them, right? Let's help them. So today we're talking about soft skills and how to build a successful career in tech. And I know that you have become a board member at Readdle recently. Until that time, you were a VP of marketing. Is that right?
Yep, that's correct.
So what did it take to find a person, a new professional to um, become a marketing person?
That's a good question, and I guess we received over 200 applications, even more within first couple of days, and those were organic applications, but also we used some firms to help us to search for the right candidates. Because when I started listing what I'm doing, it kind of on mirror boards, and I created a mind map of all my responsibilities, and I was shocked because there were so many things on my plate, and it was unrealistic for me to be like to deliver on all of those things. So that's why I talked to my partners, to my brother, and to Alex, and I said, "Hey guys, it seems that we know what we have to do in terms of the marketing for Readdle, and we can find a person who's very good and structured at this, so that we can think, and I can free up some of my time and my time to think, okay, what is this like big next strategic leap forward for our company?" So it took a while, and I'm so happy that we found an amazing person, and everybody loved it. Especially like for like three of us who were doing interviews. It was me, Alex, our co-founder, and Igor, our CEO and co-founder. And then this person, because of his soft skills, he managed to
Exactly.
build a lot of trust and credibility even during the interview process with our other team members and product managers, and everybody liked him. And that
What
was
did he do? What did he do during the interview? That's a really good point, that you can technically nail your job interview right there. I would say that probably you need 30 minutes to make other people like you if you use proper, techniques. So what exactly did he do that really kind of wowed you, and that he was able to build rapport with you guys?
he was very humble, and
Oh.
he was humble and listening. He had opinions and he presented those, but then those were like consideration of what could be done, and not like I say this or I say that, right? So that was this approach works much better when you're trying to present your idea of what could be done, and then this is how you see reality, this is how you perceive reality. But being humble, listening, and being attentive, and then trying to really understand each person, and that worked really well, and that still works really well.
So this like probably he showed a big level, like really high level of empathy as well over
Oh yeah,
there. Yeah.
100%, 100%.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Awesome.
and he was
Awesome.
always he was patient with us because we were we were doing a lot of interviews, one after another with him as well, right? The process took some time because it's a big role to it's a big shoes to fill, and we wanted to make sure we're hiring the right person and we're doing this long term. We don't need somebody to come and like for us like for a year or two, right? We want to
Yeah.
we're aiming for long term success. We're aiming for long term relationship with all our people, all our colleagues, because we want to stay long term and we want to build this company that lasts maybe beyond our lives at some point. That would be amazing, right?
It's
So he
amazing. Yeah,
and
I love it.
he's like, guys, I'm at this position. I had different roles and different jobs, but I want this run to be also long term for many years, and those were the
Absolutely. Because
rapport of the values, right? So our values matched, and that's also very important.
that's great. So technically, Readdle is working on productivity, on making people more productive. So who doesn't need productivity, even in like 50 or 100 years time? I'm pretty sure that's going to be even more popular there.
We'll
So
have robots doing all the
yeah.
things.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we should probably have another call to talk about that, like the future of the world. I'm pretty sure you're really big on this topic as well. So I'm a firm believer, like I'm rooting for soft skills, and I'm trying to convince as many tech professionals who still don't believe that soft skills are important for their career. I'm trying to persuade them that they are important, and I believe that soft skills is like the new black, as they say, you know. So if you have already mentioned some like really important soft skills like active listening or just listening, being humble. By the way, let's explain to our listeners here, being humble, what does it really mean? Because like, a lot of people may misunderstand this notion here.
Yeah, so being humble doesn't mean being shy, right? And
Yes.
then I like this phrase that the more I learn, the more I understand that I know very little. And being humble is presenting something like your idea or opinion or a project from a place of like I think, I believe this might work, and tell your intention. Because when somebody says, oh, I am the best at this, I am the best in Ukraine, I'm in the best in the world, for me personally that throws me off. And if you are the best, that means you won't be open-minded for feedback, you won't be grinding for future growth. And to be honest, I've talked to so many accomplished people who are super successful. None of them ever said how great they are. None of them. Super humble. And it's funny, like the more successful people are, like I have a couple of friends who are have their companies that worth billions of dollars. Those guys listen. They don't talk much. They just listen and they're with you. They have this rapport and eye contact and they listen, and only then they speak.
Wow, that's amazing. So technically, when people come to me, again, I'm talking about English for IT. When people say, "Oh, like developers say, okay, my English is enough. I mean, I can get by." That's not being humble, technically, right? And telling like, "Oh yeah, I know every technology is there. Like, I don't need to invest time in learning something else." That's not being super humble.
Yeah, so like, no, like when people say their English is enough to get by, it's kind of how they perceive this. I
Yeah.
think the better you communicate and the better you create a relationship, the the better career you'll have. I'm sure there are multiple research and studies around that. I'm sure you know those. I haven't checked, but I came across a bunch of those.
Yeah.
And it is important, the likability of you as a person, of how you, what are your soft skills, how you communicate, how you make others feel. I love this,
Yeah.
by the way. I love this. When I was doing a lot of interviews and hiring for us, I was reading this interview questions suggestions, and one of them said, after you're done interviewing somebody, let them go, sit down in that room, close your eyes, and see how you feel. What type of energy? What are your feelings right now, right? And I think it's being humble and also aware of how you make others feel. Do you
Yeah.
speak the same language? Do you accommodate to their pace and their tone of voice? Maybe somebody's like louder and screams, and then you're like, yeah, let's do that, and then that's good for them. But maybe somebody who's more thoughtful and shy and speaks quieter. You want to be that, and you want to build that, and that builds rapport and trust. And people will hear you better because you will have to work as a team towards the result.
Yeah, so you have to see how this person fits in the team. Like you said, if you have 5 people on the team and they are more quieter personalities, definitely you don't need anyone who is like super enthusiastic. It's not bad that you're super enthusiastic, but maybe not a good fit for this particular team. I agree totally. So speaking of soft skill, what would be your top, I don't know, 5 or whatever, 7, 3 soft skills that you think every tech professional should have? And we're talking about tech people, not necessarily engineers only. We can, refer to managers, project managers, etc. So what would they be for you?
For me personally, I like people who are positive, okay, positive thinking, people who are friendly and act out of respect. So the first condition is respect and positivity, and third one would be openness to feedback, openness to new ideas, and the desire to to learn and find a more effective and productive way of solving problems or creating something new.
So problem solving would be one of the tops. Yeah,
Being
actually,
creative and being open-minded. Some people like act from the place, oh, I know everything, we will do it this way, and especially like also in like engineering or marketing. But in software, in IT, things that we know, they become outdated almost like super fast, super fast. So what I was doing myself 3 years ago or 4 years ago in terms of marketing and how we launch products or like PR, it doesn't work now, and it's okay, right? And I'm eager to learn like what new things. Same with technology and framework and kits, and maybe the language that you're using, maybe it's better to use Flutter for this particular case. So being open-minded to be able to evaluate of what is better in this situation, and of course that requires intelligence to understand the context of the business, right? And being open-minded and being able to learn something new and implement that learning, that is super crucial, I guess.
very cool, very cool. Yeah, totally. When we talk about soft skills for technical and non-technical jobs in IT, do you think they should focus on different soft skill set, or like, it doesn't really matter because this is still like it's at the in the end of the day, it's still communicating with each other.
That's a good question. We all need soft skills, right? And I think each job description requires a different skill set, both hard and soft. But the common theme within the team and working in the company should be trust, integrity, communication, positivity, openness. I think those are like important things, and then you're a part of the team, right? And essentially you have the same goals, and you want others to collaborate with you and help you achieve those goals, because together you achieve those goals, right? And you act as one, and being able to create that is so crucial.
Yeah, the reason why I asked the question is I have a feeling that a lot of technical professionals, like software engineers, they believe that they don't need to work on soft skills because they don't have to communicate, for example, with clients that much. There are some projects where you don't like have to speak directly to clients. However, I believe that they don't think that communication is really important inside the team. So this is like when you would have to work on your soft skills. Maybe not in English if your team is monolingual, but if it's a multilingual team, then definitely yes. By the way, speaking of hard skills, so imagine the situation that you have to hire a software engineer. He's like really, really professional in terms of his hard skill. He's a great coder, but his soft skills like average, And there is another candidate with the like who's really perfect at soft skills, but his coding skills are average. Who would you hire?
I would hire somebody who has great skill, both hard and soft.
The third
I
candidate,
would
right?
not want to be in this situation, but of course, we always have to make choice, and I think its situation is different, and it's just hard to like generalize and say, oh, this or this person. I unfortunately cannot do that decision, and I think it's very clear within the context, within the situation, the framework of what we're doing, the decision will be made.
I see. I
No, if
see.
if you're
Yeah.
trying to tell that soft skills are important, yes, they are. And for those who are not sure, I'm sure there is research that says and that show how people with better soft skills end
Yeah.
up getting more promotions and having higher salary and
Because
having
they
like
just
overall
can
more respect from the team.
exactly higher salaries because they can just simply come to their boss and ask about it, because people with the with lower level of communication, they're afraid. I mean, I know it. If you work for an international company, let's say now a lot of people work remotely and they work for some companies directly, and they end up working for American company where you have to speak with an American HR. And I know that a lot of people are just afraid to speak up, even if they know that it's time for them to ask for a raise or promotion or maybe some like different conditions. They just like they can't do it because like not enough communication practice here.
Well, there is a very fine line between self promotion and communication, right? Like
Yeah.
I would love to have somebody on the team who comes to me and says, Denys, how can we grow as a business? What can I do for a company to grow and to be better? Like what are the goals, right? And then they act as an owner and they want more responsibility and they show and they deliver. And that's of course this person will get a promotion as opposed to somebody who's working on his like image and because he's like more loud, gets more attention and comes and asks just for a raise because he thinks he's amazing. I would prefer to have the first situation.
Of course, yeah. So definitely you have to give before you receive. Yeah, before you ask for something. I would like to go back to when talking about feedback, when you mentioned that you believe that feedback is a great skill to practice, right? Receiving feedback. So
Mhm.
what would be your insights here? What would be your tips about like receiving and giving feedback, maybe? Because I am touching upon this on the course, like, and every time I'm sharing the difference between how feedback is perceived in English speaking culture and how it is perceived in Eastern European culture, which is like absolutely different. So what would be your say here?
Absolutely, yes. And it's so crucial. And before we jump in, I would recommend this book, which is phenomenal. And it's called Radical Candor by Kim Scott,
Yeah,
where the word candor itself is a great word. It's not honesty, right? Because honesty implies an emotional contract and kind of obligation of, oh, are you honest or not? But candid removes this kind of removes this emotional part and just states the fact. So Radical Candor by Kim Scott, highly recommend for everybody, especially if you're a manager. And they talk
totally.
about how to build a culture of radical candor, which is trust, giving feedback, and actually being in a culture of adults and being able to make decisions and give and receive feedback. So when we talk about feedback, 100% right. In I think it comes down to intention, right? If you have a great team and everybody's aligned, and feedback is an amazing mechanism for us to learn how our actions or words are being perceived and what effect they're causing on people around us or on the goals that we're working on. And so feedback should be treated as something sacred, something amazing, if this feedback is given from the right place. And as I said, you have to have the right team and the right people with the intention to give feedback because they want you to succeed. They want you to grow, right? That's what happens when I'm working with my team. I give feedback because I know this person is capable of growth and achieving that, and maybe he or she is not doing something in the best and the most efficient way, and I'm here to help. And from when people like understand where you're coming from, then it's a very different exercise and it's a very different approach.
So, when you say that you technically give feedback to your team when they're doing something wrong, but first you build the culture, like you train them to understand that you're giving feedback, you're not criticizing them. So they understand that you are helping them, right? Like, I mean, it's not like
Well,
you.
yeah, I asked everybody to read that book, and then
Okay,
and
okay,
I
good.
made notes. I'm not sure that everybody read that book, but I think some people did, and of course we talk about this, right? And
Yeah,
then
but you communicated your what you think about this, right? So that's another thing. I also recommend this book to our community and especially to managers. I read this book myself. It's great. I really loved it that she included some hands-on activities there. For example, the one that I use myself with my employees when you have to deliver some harsh negative feedback and during your one-on-one meeting, and you first ask them to tell you if they have any feedback for you, and then they're like more relaxed and you can talk about this like negative feedback over there, right? And what do you do if the person does not really want to accept this feedback? Like, there are
I'll
people.
let them go. Like as I said, every smart individual, um, if the feedback is given the right way, every smart individual would be grateful for feedback because
Awesome.
this will help him to succeed in his job, right? Especially if it's coming from the manager. Well, then yeah, you got to listen to this.
Yeah.
Maybe, but again, I assume there are situations when this feedback is not relevant or coming from the wrong place, right? Like especially maybe in our part of the world. But then don't work in that team. Don't work for that manager who's doing that. Simple.
Yeah, exactly. So that's a good point. I'm happy that you said that nobody's going to put up with your like moodiness or not willingness, like unwillingness to learn. That is why there are certain important things that people should work on if, again, you want to work on the best team, like, in the best company. So this is something to work on. This is great. Denys, I am looking forward to you telling a little bit more about your new planner, your new book.
It's a framework, not a
It's a
planner.
it's a framework now. It used to be a planner. Yeah.
It used to be.
Yeah, it's a framework. So if you could share a little bit what it's like and how, because I'm pretty sure this framework can help people to develop their soft skill part as well, because it's all about focusing on yourself and making yourself a better person. So could you please tell us a little bit about this framework?
Yeah, sure. So I have a passion that I want to live an amazing life and live the best life, whatever that is, for myself or for somebody else. And I'm a big fan that we should be very intentional of what we want and how we want to live. And once we think about that, and once we write things down, we have a higher chance, a higher probability of achieving that. So I've been doing this exercise for the past 5 years, trying to assemble all the different parts of information, see what others are doing, and read a lot of books and talked to a lot of smart people, and basically created a framework to organize and plan life. Very simple in one sentence, but it's not that simple. But I'm trying to make it more actionable and practical. So you can think of this as of a GPS for your life. What it does,
I like it.
I love this.
Is that one of the slogans for the book?
Yeah, a GPS for your life. Basically, what you do, it helps you to understand where you are right now, where you want to go, and then you create like an actionable step-by-step guide or strategy on how to get where you want to be. And it has a lot of exercises from the best mentors and teachers and coaches. And I was doing this for myself, and this was my passion. And I witnessed how being intentional with what I want will actually yield results. And my life was changed and affected in a positive way. And and then somebody told me, Dennis, I saw what you're doing. You should share this with the world. And that's what I did last year. We made a free version of it. We called this My Way 2020. This was like an annual planner. But then this year, I was thinking about, since I have a little bit more time now, we can turn this into more of a framework, more of a system, not the annual planner for 1 year, not the resolution that everybody will stop doing after 1 month, but more of a system, more of a framework. And especially with my passion towards technology and IT, the vision is to build this more of a like GPS for your life or a life operating system. But that's like a longer term vision. For now, we'll have this interactive PDF version and a Notion template and a very limited edition of the book. By the way, I have the
Nice.
first
Love it.
version here. Um,
Well,
and
it's also available. It's going to be available in digital format,
Yeah, it's
right?
going to be a PDF version plus
PDF version. Yeah.
Notion template. We've spent a couple of months building a Notion template.
Would you mind if I share the link with the community as well once it's done, ready to go?
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
Yeah,
That would be great.
absolutely. Awesome.
Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah.
Yeah. So I have another question, quick question. So what does it take to work for a company like Readdle? I'm pretty sure a lot of people are curious what kind of, what does it take? What kind of people you are looking for? You're always looking for.
Yeah, we're always hiring, and I think right now we have about 20 positions, maybe more. And we have values that are ingrained in our DNA, and those are focused on the customer. That's the main value. And then value number two is that we win as a team. And to explain that, we are in a unique situation where what you create, either it's a code or you talk to our customers, you have a direct impact on how the company will be perceived. And for example, if you ship the code and then this app like Documents is being used by 11 million people, then if
Wow.
you do something right, everybody will love it. If you do something wrong, everybody will feel it. And we focus on the customer, and we trying to create value, and we're delivering that value to our customers, and always asking what they like, what they don't like, things like that. And also, I think curiosity is very important, and being able um, to figure out how you can do your best, and on your own, like see the situation and propose new solutions and new decisions and deliver that, and then to have a greater result and to optimize something. That's very important. But
That's awesome.
but I was just in the office yesterday, and it's so like, because we had the office shut down for such a long time, and there were a few people. It's so good. The energy is so great to see everybody. It was so
You totally missed the
inspirational.
office
Like
life.
absolutely, like having that atmosphere, and people like our people. We're all passionate about what we're doing, whether it's we're applying our customers, or we're doing marketing, or we're doing Q&A. Everybody is very engaged. And for example, if we have this launch and then we have to resubmit at 2 a.m., like it's not even like we are all up and we're all working, we're all shipping. But then this is like it doesn't happen often. It's very rarely on occasions, but the joy of that work, that collaboration together is the best. And in the process, you're always like struggling because like, oh, I'm not sleeping, this is hard. But then when you look back 2 years in, 3 years in, those are one of the best memories of working together.
Yeah, that's awesome. I would like to highlight the point that you made, like, what does it take to work for a company like Readdle? And you said that we are customer oriented. So technically, no matter like, what profession, what job we're talking about, you have to be business oriented. And this is another soft skill that a lot of companies require, a lot of international huge companies require you to have, not only focus on your coding, for example, right? But think from the business perspective. So this is another tip that we can totally share with the community. So finally, Denys, let's wrap up. I know you probably have more interviews coming up here. So finally, what would be your expert advice to all the tech folks who are, trying to build successful careers in the tech industry? Yeah, who are trying to find jobs at companies like Google or, any other big companies. What would you tell them they should focus on, primarily?
I'd say look at this from this perspective. Every company wants to hire great people, right? Not just average or above average, but we want to find great talent and great people, and that's a struggle. And once you become the best or very good at something, then everybody wants you. So you switch the perception, you switch the equation from, oh, I want to find a job, to how can I become the best? What do I need to do to learn? How can I learn hard skills, soft skills, right? But then also you have to make sure that people will know somehow, right? Or people will refer that you're amazing. But usually everybody know in the team who's amazing and who's delivering. Like it's like everybody know those people who are kicking ass. And then companies want those people. Like we would, of course, we would hire overnight for all these positions if we could find those people who are great. Yes. So think of how can you become better? How can you improve? What you have to learn, and don't be lazy.
Yeah, be curious, like you said earlier. Totally. So definitely, I see that I should expand a little bit more next time on personal branding, right? Because if you're really good at something, you got to show this to people, and you got to like, this is about personal branding as well.